Hey everybody, it's Tripl-L, and now let's chat about Sword Art Online Alternative Gun Gale Online Episode 4. It is always such a mouthful to say that name. Anyway, Episode 4, Late Impressions. Man, I'm gonna tell you, I really enjoyed this. This is really cool. I'm still enjoying Gun Gale. It's a pretty cool little show, and I'm not gonna lie, like this episode was one that was full of fake outs for me, because like the episode title was, I think, Death Game, and when I see that, I'm just thinking, oh dear God, please no, don't tell me that we're about to go into something that's more serious than just people playing a video game. But thankfully that's not what we got. I'm very happy. I want to just keep it a video game for as long as possible. I think it's much stronger when we're just dealing with it like that. But yeah, episode 4, really there's a lot of highlights for this episode for me, and we could talk about the ending itself. The ending itself, I think it's also a very strong one. It's a very strong cliffhanger, and if they had ended the episode where they did without the extra scene after the ending song, that would have been good. And when they did that, I was just thinking, oh my God, why is this happening? Well, it has to be because of the letter. It has to be because of the letter that M was going to read at exactly 3 o'clock. And, as I'm just watching the ending song play out, I'm thinking, okay, like, they're already in the tournament. They're already in, like, Bullet Jam. I don't really care about the name of the contest, but they're already in their competition. They seem to be doing well. I'm not sure if they're in preliminaries or if this is, like, the actual real match anymore, because my memories are kind of faded, but it doesn't matter. But I'm just thinking, okay, well, we're pretty far into, like, this episode already. We're pretty far into the contest, but I know from the first episode that this match was seen by the tinier little girls when our main character Len has shorter hair from that first episode. I know that the timeline's kind of a little bit like funky when you like consider that first episode in regards to this one. I'm thinking, okay, the ending has Len with like that blonde haired girl. Okay, is this the start of like Pito just screwing with Len, trying to make Len hate her so that they can have a really good fight later on? Because then the ending has like Pito and M blacked out, and I'm just thinking, okay, what's going on here? How are they going to kind of twist this around? So I was really happy because like it got me, right? Like it got me in terms of I want to speculate about where this is going. So I think that's a pretty good victory for episode 4 for Gun Gale Online, and then, like the ending really does make up for like some of the things that I think. Well, actually, there's only really one thing that really bothered me in the episode, and it's something we talked about earlier, but I'll leave that for later. Anyway, when I was just speculating hardcore like that during the ending song, it really just told me like, yeah, I'm having a lot of fun with this show. And then the ending song's over, and they show us the rest of the scene, and we see that shit, Len is actually living up to her reputation as the Pink Devil. She got out of the way, she messed with M a little bit, and now she had him at gunpoint. And I thought that was pretty amazing. Now I'm thinking, okay, was this supposed to be a test to see if like Len's actually like capable of shit or something like that? And what we ultimately ended up getting was probably one of the biggest turnarounds. Earlier in the episode, it was revealed that M's idea for his name was Map, and it wasn't something else like Masochist or anything like that. But I thought it was pretty neat, and throughout the episode you also had like more characterization coming into him, like him saying that he's a chicken, he's a scaredy cat, he hides behind a shield. So those little elements just reminded us like, hey, this is ultimately a pretty simple guy, right? He's simple, he has his own human-like qualities. That's a really weird way of saying it, but he has his own human qualities. And well, you connect those dots, and it's like, okay, yeah, this guy is just a normal guy, aside from the fact that he has real-world experience with shooting or with using actual rifles, such that he can use rifles more or less, we can assume, pretty well. You have that image of him being created, and then it just caps off with him breaking the facade of his avatar and just crying like a little baby. And that was a funny turnaround. I think both ways, like even without that scene, like the episode would have been good just leaving this scene for the next episode, but finishing it off with that definitely gave it that little bit of a funny kick, and it definitely makes it a little bit more interesting, just because like, oh, he's crying, well what is he actually scared of? Is he afraid of dying in the game, or is he afraid of dying in real life, right? Because now we have to like start thinking, what exactly is going on? What is Pito doing? And I'm pretty sure it's Pito. It has to be Pito, the one that gave him that letter. So I'm very interested to see what happens. I am trying my best to stay away from spoilers, but I was spoiled in the comments as I was reading it for the site I was watching the episode from. And I was only like mildly spoiled. They like mentioned what the letter is based around, like whose relationship it's based around or whatever. Like, it's some in real life stuff from what I understood, but I'm excited to see what's gonna happen next episode. I haven't seen the preview for the next episode yet. If I find it, I will put up a video this time for sure. But yeah, overall, I had a lot of fun with this episode. Like, I'm having a lot of joy just talking about it. Okay, so like going away from that and going back towards the rest of the episode, one of the parts that at this point it's not really important to complain about it anymore. One of the parts I had another problem with was, again, the bullet line mechanics. I have no problem with M establishing that you can bring in real world skills and use them in this game, right? They established that way back when at the beginning of the series, that you can bring in real world skills. That's fine. I have no problem with that. My problem is like just again with the bullet line and the aiming circle, because like I'm pretty sure in the episode there was a line where Pito's saying like, as long as your opponent is within the circle, the game will register a hit, and that mechanic allows it to be. That mechanic allows for easier shooting of long-range targets. It makes things more possible. It makes a game feel more achievable. Okay, that's cool. But again, it's like the damn bullet line. The bullet line implies that that's the direction that bullet's gonna flow, like it's gonna fly, and then like the bullet circle itself seems random, but then again, it doesn't seem random. It's just interesting. It's interesting, but at this point, I'm accepting the mechanics for what they are, because we're already 4 episodes in, and this is where like this is a point in the story, or a point in the series itself, where they're telling you like, hey, suspend disbelief, this is just how it works. And at that point I'll be like, yeah, I don't really care about the mechanic anymore. And I know someone in the comments for I think the first episode, or the second episode actually, sorry, mentioned or tried to explain how the mechanic itself actually works, and that's fine. It's funny that the mechanic is being brought up again, and it's being re-explained again. What this episode really brought in for the mechanic is that the idea of registering a hit as long as the target is within the circle. That's interesting, I think, on a mechanic point, but the mechanic is just there to make M's, like, whatever he's doing when he's shooting at the hover boats, it's really just there to make that moment seem better and make it feel more fleshed out. So I think this is a case where story and dramatic turn of events is taking precedent over the logic, and like it's still something that I think I need to go back and just read other people's comments and also read what they said in the episode, because at this point my memories are getting jumbled and I'm getting confused. But overall, like at this point, it's not something that I'm going to use to actually take away from the series. It's perfectly fine. I'm totally fine suspending disbelief for this mechanic if it actually is a bit compromised. It doesn't make sense. I haven't thought it through, so I can't come to my final conclusion on that one. That said, not a big deal. I think explaining the mechanic again, while it is a bit of retreading old territory, it is like it does make M seem a lot cooler. And really, when it comes to the entertainment value there, that's all I need. I like seeing M be super cool. And man, look, even with the man crying at the end, you know what? That made me feel more for him. He's like, yeah, alright, I like you, M. Like, not only can you be cool, but you're also a little bitch. But no, that aside, I'm really digging it. This episode also like featured a lot of building up M, and it makes sense when you consider that there was going to be that betrayal at the end. If the episode had ended off without the after credit scene, I would have thought like, okay, man, like that episode did a pretty good job establishing how cool M is, and then just ripping your heart out by him shooting Len. But like what they ultimately showed us is two hyper competent characters, or not hyper competent, two competent characters. M got the majority of his competence in the first half, and then Len gets competence at the end, because it's like, holy, she just dodged it. Like, she's pretty badass when you're seeing that final sequence. So that was pretty cool. Let's see, any other things I really want to talk about? Not really. We just see like the other people in combat trying to take on our pair. This is it, the final two left to go. M brought out a giant shield. I thought that was really neat. Looking through my notes, I don't think there's anything else I really want to mention. Overall, episode 4 right now, I think... Oh, no. There was one more segment when Len just shot the guy, and you know, they took extra care to like make sure we understood this is a little girl shooting a man at point blank range. Like, mind you, it's still a video game, but like the image of a little girl shooting down with that intensity is still a pretty striking image, depending on how sensitive you are or how much you really get immersed in your anime. That image might actually like cause a little bit of a disturbance in you. It's like what's it called? I guess it's unsettling, it's offsetting. It's one of those things where, you know, depending on how much you relate, it could be an interesting kind of feeling that you get from that. I wonder if there's like another kind of word to describe that kind of dissonance between your concepts of the world and the material that you're seeing in front of you, but I can't think of it right now. Anyway, overall, episode 4, I very much loved it. I think it's my favorite of them so far. I don't think it's love of the intensity that I would love, like say a chapter of One Piece, but this is definitely it's fun. It's really fun, and I really enjoyed this one. So guys, those are my thoughts on episode 4 of Sword Art Online Alternative, Gun Gale Online. What a mouthful. Let me know what you thought down below. And till next time, I hope you have an absolutely great day.